Call to order the October 13th, 2022 meeting of the Sierra Vista City Council. Mrs. Adams, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Rick Mueller,
Present.
Councilmember William Benning,
Present.
Councilmember Gregory Johnson,
Present.
Councilmember Angelica Landry,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Messmer,
Present.
Councilmember Mark Rodriguez,
Present.
Councilmember Carolyn Humphrey. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Tonight, the invocation will be led by Randy Youngblood of the Thunder Mountain Church, and I will lead the pledge. Please rise.
Oh, Father in heaven, thank you for the privilege that we have to enjoy living in the place where we live. And thank you for these men and women who work hard to make this place the best it can be. I pray that you would give them wisdom and discernment. I pray that honor would be given to where honor is due, and you would allow a camaraderie and a teamwork to permeate that people with different backgrounds who come together for one common cause. Unite us, I pray, and I pray this prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Pastor Youngblood. Tonight we'll start with awards and presentations. We have at least 3 proclamations and a presentation. So I'll move forward and we'll get that done first. Chief, will you join me? I think you're first. For those that don't know, this handsome young gentleman is the Fire Chief Jones. I only said that because I know your mom. She'd probably want me to say that. It's my honor and privilege as mayor of the city of Sierra Vista to offer the following proclamation on behalf of the good citizens of Sierra Vista. Whereas the city of Sierra Vista is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our community, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire, and whereas working smoke alarms detect smoke well before individuals can alert people to danger in the event of fire, in which they have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely and rescue the risk and reduce the risk of dying reported home fires. And excuse me, let me read that again. I must have missed something there. They have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely and reduce the risk of dying in reported home fires by half. And whereas residents should ensure every person in the home understands the alarm sound and how to respond. And whereas the 2022 fire prevention theme is fire won't wait, plan your escape. The effect effectively serves to remind us everyone the importance of having and practicing a home fire escape plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor of the City of Sierra Vista, Arizona, do hereby proclaim October 2022 as Fire Prevention Month in and for the City of Sierra Vista. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Sierra Vista to be affixed. This, the 13th day of October, the year of our Lord 2022, and Independence of the United States of America, 246. Signed, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor. Chief, congratulations.
Fire won't wait, plan your escape. That is the theme this year, so make sure everybody goes home and plans your escape. 100 years ago, Woodrow Wilson established Fire Prevention Week, so we are celebrating 100 years today. And we're celebrating in a bad form. We're celebrating to commemorate the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, where hundreds of people died and thousands of structures were damaged. Fire Prevention and Fire Prevention Week is a week and a month, but it's all year for us. And we want adults and children to understand that fire safety is very important, and we practice that every day. So thank you very much.
Fire won't wait, plan an escape.
Corporal Boltinghouse, are you here?
No, it's not.
Oh, you got such another chief.
Chief, you gonna take this one?
Yes, he's actually at training for this right now.
Again, it's my honor and privilege as mayor of the city of Sierra Vista to offer the following proclamation on behalf of the good citizens of Sierra Vista. Whereas domestic violence education, prevention, advocacy, enforcement, and prosecution need increased public attention and support. And whereas 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and we share a moral obligation to recognize, address, and stop domestic violence. Whereas only about half of domestic violence incidents are reported to the police, and whereas the health, safety, and well-being of our families is now and must always continue to be one of our community's highest priorities. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor of the City of Sierra Vista, Arizona, do hereby proclaim October 2022 as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month in and for the City of Sierra Vista. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Sierra Vista to be affixed this the 13th day of October, the year of our Lord 2022, and independence of the United States of America 246. Signed, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor. Chief, congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You'll see that the police department has lighted up purple outside to bring awareness to it. We also have information tables inside. This is an issue that we deal with on a daily basis as a police department, but the victims deal with this every day, every minute of their life, and many of them just suffer in silence. So getting out the awareness, the information that we get out there to get help that they need is vitally important. So I appreciate you doing this, Mayor.
We're going to deviate from the agenda a little bit and run the third proclamation. Can I ask Jennifer Farrell to come forward? It's my honor and privilege as mayor of the city of Sierra Vista to offer the following proclamation on behalf of the good citizens of Sierra Vista. Whereas many parents and family have suffered a pregnancy loss or the death of an infant during delivery, can't even speak tonight, during delivery or shortly after birth, which extracts a terrible emotional toll. And whereas these devastating tragedies often occur suddenly, without warning, as a result of miscarriage, stillbirth, preterm birth, sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, accident, or other causes or complications. And whereas the city of Sierra Vista wishes to acknowledge the existence of the babies and infants that have died far too early and the profound grief experienced by the families who suffer from their death. And whereas increased awareness of the causes of and impacts surrounding pregnancy and infant loss may lead to greater understanding, support, and resources in communities of the city of Sierra Vista. And whereas recognizing Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month enables the people of Sierra Vista to consider how, as individuals and communities, they can meet the needs of bereaved mothers, fathers, and family members and work to prevent the causes of these deaths. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Frederick W. Mueller, Mayor of the City of Sierra Vista, Arizona, do hereby proclaim October 2022 as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. for the city, in and for the city of Sierra Vista. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Sierra Vista to be affixed. This is the 13th day of October, the year of our Lord 2022, and independence of the United States of America, 246, signed Frederick W. Mueller.
So this is something that many families suffer from. Probably like 1 in 3 families have lost a child through one of these instances, either miscarriage.
Is your party here to get the award?
No.
You don't see him? Okay. Well, we'll do this another time, but basically, Rachel's with the Commission on Disability Issues, and they basically pick an entity that has had an impact with the disabled community on an annual basis, and this year's winner was Texas Roadhouse, so I'm sure they're probably cooking stuff up right now. And at some point in time, we'll get the general manager Saul to either come pick it up or we'll see it's delivered to him properly. But again, I want to thank you for your work with the commission, and again, thank Texas Roadhouse and all our personnel who support many, many things in the community. Okay? Thank you. Next, move to the city manager's report, Mr. Patuchik.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller. Members of the council, your next regularly scheduled work session is scheduled for Tuesday, October 25th, 3 p.m., and that'll be here in the council chambers, highlighting presentation on the Better Bucks program and Community Connect programs that were brought up at your last work session on Tuesday. We also then have your regular city council meeting is scheduled for October 27th, Thursday, 5 p.m., and that'll be here in the council chambers as well. A few items tonight. The request for proposals for your strategic leadership planning facilitator, which will be, of course, coming up next spring after the new council is seated. That RFP will be going out tomorrow with a due date of November 10th. The St. Vincent de Paul parking lot project, which is a community development block grant project, we just held a pre-construction meeting with K&G, and that project will be underway and is expected to be completed by November 4th. The Good Neighbor Alliance kitchen project has been contracted to a firm called A5 Design and Construction, and that will be underway here soon as well. Garden Avenue improvements design is underway, and we're still expecting completion on that in April of next year. This morning, I attended on behalf of the city the CCOM Joint Powers Authority meeting, where staffing is a continual item of discussion, and we're certainly trying to put a focus on that. And there's a lot of ads and those kind of things out there. We're also working with the City of Douglas on a mutual aid agreement for backup, and we should be able to help each other out. In fact, Douglas is already helping us out with Spanish-speaking individuals as well, which is a big help. We no longer have to use the interpretation equipment that we were using before. Then finally, tomorrow, Station 4 dedication, 10 a.m. at Tompkins Park, and I'll see you there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Patuchik. Any questions from Mr. Patuchik on his report?
Sir.
Okay, seeing none, we'll go to item 1, acceptance of the agenda. Ms. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda for the regular city council meeting of October 13th, 2022 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions, completions, corrections for the agenda?
Sir.
Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll now go on to the public hearings. Item number 2, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-065, an owner transfer Series 7, new liquor license application for Lynn Renee Haryu on behalf of Goji Barbecue House LLC, located at 1173 East Fry Boulevard, Sierra Vista, be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Adams, may we have the staff report, please?
Mayor Mueller, members of council, as mentioned by Councilmember Johnson, this is a transfer of a Series 7 liquor license, which is a beer and wine bar liquor license for the Goji Barbecue House. The notice of the public hearing tonight was posted on the facility over the required 20 days, and to date, no comments have been received from the public, pro or con. The police department has done their background check of the applicant and have no objection to this moving forward. I believe Ms. Harju is in the audience tonight if you have any questions, but if approved tonight, it will be forwarded to the liquor department tomorrow for final action.
Thank you for coming tonight. Anybody on the council have any questions or issues that needs to be discussed? Comments? Okay, he's first.
Thank you for being here as we vote on your liquor license. And it's good to see, the formerly known as the Golden Phoenix, right? They retired. And so it's good to see new people taking over and starting something new with the Gogi House. So I'm looking forward to eating there and looking forward to your business doing very well. Thank you.
Man, I have to say the same thing as Councilman Rodriguez. I'm glad you're opening the Gogi House, my favorite type of Korean food, and I'll be your best customer once you open. So congratulations, and looking forward to the soft opening and seeing how you're doing. And thanks for moving close to the West Edge, so we appreciate it.
Did you want to share anything with us, ma'am?
No.
Thank you.
Good enough.
Any other discussions or questions? I'll call for the issue. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We now move on to item number 3, Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the resolution 2022-066, program year 2021, Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Fisher, may we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor Mueller, members of council. Matt McLaughlin, who wrote up this report, and the caper is currently still out on vacation, so I'll be reading this in his stead. Okay, for background, the program year 2021 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, known as the CAPER, describes the activities undertaken during the program year beginning on July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022, using federal funds granted to the city of Sierra Vista by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, under the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program. Activities and accomplishments described in this report primarily benefit low-income residents of the city of Sierra Vista and neighborhoods with high concentrations of low and moderate income residents. CDBG regulations require that the public be given a 15-day period to review the CAPER and provide comments prior to the approval by City Council. A public notice announcing the availability of the CAPER was published in the Sierra Vista Herald on September 25th, 2022, and copies of the CAPER were made available for public review at City Hall and on the city's website. The public comment period began September 26, 2022, and closed on October 11th. No public comments have been received. And now for a brief overview of the disbursements and funds and of activities spent over the program year. In terms of economic development, we have St. Vincent de Paul, which is the $171.62 for environmental review. For housing, we have $491.23, and that was for our emergency home repair program for public notices. Public facilities and improvements, we've got Good Neighbor Alliance, again an environmental review for $171.62. Parks and recreation facilities, the largest part of the CAPER in terms of the funding, $466,065.54. The majority went to the Sears Center Park improvements that we've been seeing throughout the city, with $25,000 approximately going to the Soldier Creek Park improvements. In terms of public services, about $59,837 with 72 cents. That went to COVID relief and assistance funding. And in terms of admin, we've got $1,142.81. And that concludes the summary of the activities that we have listed here in the CAPER. And thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Fisher? Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question, and if I'm out of scope, please let me know. I was just curious with the rehab funds, how do we get the word out to people?
You're talking about the emergency
rehab? Yes, sir.
The largest Councilmember Benning, the largest number of recipients for the program that have reached out to us here in community development have been learning about it through word of mouth and the Vistas program run by our Public Information Office, thanks to the work of Adam Curtis. He's done a great job, and we encourage people to continue to get the word out. We still have plenty of funding available, and we currently have about one application completed, one project completed, and about 5 applications in processing.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And then all I want to say, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate when the cappers come out. A lot of people don't understand when they look at a budget, we're spending this much money, but the capper lets you know exactly what the city's spending on what and where the grant money's going. So it's good to see, and I appreciate all the work y'all doing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions, comments?
You kind of answered already. I appreciate you bringing that up because I was going to ask you the same thing that I asked you the other day. So I'm glad it's out there in the public that there's been so that's a total of 6 people that have applied.
Roger.
One's complete, 5 are in the works.
Yes, sir.
I've been to 2 other houses. One was an HVAC, and that's probably when that was done, and one's electrical, and then some other things that are like that. Correct? That are all kind of similar projects.
Councilmember Rodriguez, that is correct.
Okay, great. And so, like you said, there's still money left because it was 25 plus we added 75 more. So there's still money out there for anybody that's in the city involved.
Yes. The total funding for the emergency home repair project was $50,000, and they're allotted $10,000 per project, though most of the ones that we're receiving are well under that $10,000 threshold.
We're able to spread it out more than Roger.
That is correct.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Fisher. And seeing nothing further on this item, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go on to new business. Item number 4, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the regular city council meeting minutes of December 8th, 2022 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions, corrections, editing that needs to be done on this item? No further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go to call to the public. And we have Felicia Sawyer who would like to address us.
Is that good?
And before you get started, the rules are you've got 5 minutes to address us.
I don't have a clock. You'll have to.
Well, here's the way it works is the strip will light up.
Right.
And it'll go from green all the way down to yellow. And then when it starts blinking red,
It's time.
I'll ask you to conclude your remarks.
Right.
Okay?
I'm a fast speaker once I start.
Okay, well, give it to us good so we can listen, okay? So please, if you
Good
would.
evening, council members and Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your time and your attention. My name is Felicia Sawyer. I live here in Sierra Vista for the last 2 years. I moved here during COVID. I'm going to be 74 years, God willing, December the 14th of this year. I'm talking today about the problem with transportation with Sierra Vista Transit, with the cab services that are now charging $9 for a one-way trip because of the high gas prices. I live on approximately $1,800 a month, and we know from medical statistics that obesity and diabetes are not as bad as isolation for elderly people. And because I moved here and I had a car and my family decided they didn't want to pay the insurance on the car anymore and subsequently sold the car, I no longer have my own transportation. This leads me to depend upon others such as VICAP, which are good volunteers. They don't take you to the thrift store. They don't take you to the movies. They don't take you to the mall. They don't take you to church. They don't take you to the doctor if it's like the next day because they have to schedule it. They can't just do something like, you and I are used to with our car. We jump in our car and we go to the mall to buy whatever it is we want to buy. When independence is taken away from a person, I'm from Virginia and I got my learner's permit when I was 14 years old. So I've been driving approximately most 3/4 of my life. So therefore, when I have to depend on someone else or wait for transportation that does not come, I called a cab service that will not be named. They never came. They never responded to me. And I walked home. I walked 2 miles home because I was so mad. And I think that this, when you have bills to pay and you're giving out your money for transportation because you're so tired of being in the house. Sunday, there's no bus. Saturday, there's no bus. So if I want to go to church, I walk to church. It's not the church I want to go to, but it's a church. So I have to make lots and lots and lots of compromises in my own personal life just to get out of the house, because Pat and Mike, which good folks know that's your legs, and also I'd like to complain a little bit about the public thoroughfares. We're not cutting down the bushes for people that walk. If you're walking with a walker and there's a big bush, weed sticking up, you have to go around it or it hits you in the face or something. There's those sidewalks you have out by the highway, they're like asphalt. Well, you're not trimming back the bushes and stuff. So, you're doing all this money for people that drive cars. Well, a lot of us don't have cars. And we have to realize that. And I do talk to the people at the transit, and they've given me a hard time because the handicapped people said, well, you walked across Fry Boulevard. I said, well, it's four lanes. I can follow the lights and walk across the street. I don't expect the bus to come and take me across the street. I'm not quite that lazy. So I really think there's some accommodation has to be for the weekends, and I understand there's no way to get to Tucson by bus or train anymore. And they said, well, nobody was using it. I don't think that's true. I think if there was a bus or a limited train to Tucson, I would be the first one to get on it, and I think lots of older people would too. And I will conclude my remarks that saying that limiting transportation because a person is not more handicapped, why should we wait till a person is so handicapped that they're in a wheelchair or they're in a nursing home? The idea is to keep people out of it. Preventive medicine is much better. Like for right now, I got to go to the doctor, but I couldn't get my medicine because I don't have any money. And the money that I spent on transportation and going to the movies, that's all right. That's my decision. But I shouldn't have to make that decision between social isolation and paying for my medicine. That concludes my remarks. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Bev.
You.
Okay, we'll next go on to comments and requests for council. And Ms. Humphrey's up first, and she's still not here yet, so we'll go to Mrs. Landry, Dr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight, and thank you for your comments, Mrs. Sawyer. I really appreciate you sharing. And thank you to the police department for lighting up outside to bring attention to domestic awareness, to bring awareness to domestic abuse. It's something that you don't really know if anybody is experiencing that or not. It happens to people, all kinds of different people. You never know, and people should not have to suffer in silence at all. It's not. It's brave to speak out, and there's lots of different resources out there that people would love to help those that are suffering. And it is very scary if you're in that situation to speak up and to get help. But there's lots of resources in Sierra Vista, and Sierra Vista is such a loving community. So I really am proud to live here. All the people that are willing to help as well. So I do appreciate that and bringing light to that. And that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wish to wish fellow veterans that served in the United States Navy a happy 247th birthday today. They're lovingly known as the Uber drivers for the United States Marine Corps, but they are currently celebrating their birthday today. So congratulations to all vets that served. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Wow.
Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to be brief, too. First, I'm glad Chief came up here with Fire Prevention Month, because we got some great things happening this month, just to service alone. EMS dedication tomorrow at 10 o'clock, for those that missed it in the beginning. It's already paying off dividends in the short time it's been open, so I hope to see everyone out there. And as far as fire prevention, I'd be remorse if I didn't bring up or talk about Mark Rodriguez. Councilman Rodriguez, still today, even on council, goes out, checks fire. I can't raise my arm. Sorry. Checks fire
Smoke detectors.
Fire alarms, thank you, smoke detectors. He goes out, installs them, he checks them, and updates them. So I appreciate all the work you do with the city, Mark, in that regard. And Ms. Sawyer, thanks for coming to talk. I hope at 74 I'm the same way and have that burst of enthusiasm like you do. And that's it. Oh, and finally, after we all leave here, don't forget to watch Thursday Night Football, because my Washington Commanders are going to beat up on Greg Johnson's Chicago Bears. That's all, Mr. Mayor. And don't give him an alibi.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, if you do need your smoke detectors checked, just call 520-417-4400. That is station number 3. We'll put you on the schedule. I talked to Chief Foster recently. Maybe we're going to add something maybe online in the future where we can maybe click on there and do a little bit of both. But for now, call the number. We'll get you on the schedule and get those done. Do not get on the ladder. Whatever you do, if you're not comfortable getting on the ladder, call the fire department and we'll come out and change your smoke detectors or change your light bulbs or whatever. Do not get on the ladder. All right. We got some good feedback in the community from Prickly's Cafe. They just recently opened. They said Miss Diana Cameron helped them a lot with them. They were kind of worried they weren't going to be able to open on time and have the ribbon cutting ceremony, but she was obviously key in that happening. She made some crucial phone calls to the county and things like that. So they wanted, I talked to them when they, I missed the mayor when he was there for the ribbon cutting. I came after you, but they wanted to mention that she helped them out a lot. So I really wanted to mention her for helping out. It's good to see that local business open. Talking about recruiting, things like that. We know obviously we talked about staff shortages for a while. I would like to see some info from our maybe exit interviews to make sure we're all tracking that, the data, where people are going, with things like that, what we can work on better in the city to do. So if those can be available from the exit interviews from people living from our city that we see, that we do those exit interviews, I'd love to see the data if possible to see what we can work on. If you're not familiar with the A.V. Anderson Park on 7th Street, it's the disc golf course. Recently had some vandalism going on there in August, unfortunately. Somebody drove a truck through there and messed up 3 of the baskets. But along with the help of a local donor, Mr. Johnny Leifelman, who's on a disc club out here, and the Parks and Rec crew, namely Mr. Sergio, Kirk, John, Dennis, they were out there. Maybe the real names, maybe not, because they don't like to tell me the real names sometimes because they don't like to get credit, and I understand that. But they were out there doing the job and putting those in. When they ordered them, they were missing a few pieces, and those guys were out there cutting and making sure they were all up to standard. So they did a lot of work out there at the park, and so now that we can use that park again, there's 18 holes again, 18 baskets again. And thank you, Laura, and for you and the staff for making that happen and getting that park up and running again. Fort Huachuca, they're doing a business incubator, October 24th, 25th, 26th. And the thing behind that is they're kind of looking at, it's kind of geared towards spouses of military members that are here, right? So while they're here, if they have a home business or a small business, kind of brainstorm together. And if it's something that you think maybe, you can talk to people that have been successful while they're here. And if they're leaving their PCS, maybe they can sell you their business or transfer their business if it's something that'll work locally. So just something positive that Fort Huachuca is doing. And it also influences us in the city because local businesses. So I appreciate that they're doing that as well in the fort. As I mentioned earlier, there's that Walk for Infant Loss Awareness, October 15th at the park. So get out there if you can. And I believe that is it. Thank you for our call to the public. We'll make sure we can get all the information and we can get the help where we can help there.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Mesmer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to tell the community that on the Fry Cemetery, we have a community of friendo, so you can bring copies of photos of your loved ones, and we'll laminate them at the museum and put them up. And so that's going on. And I also would just like to say that the museum is back open, and it's the museum, it's the historic West End, then and now. So she takes you through the time and brings you to today with how Fry Boulevard is. So it's really great. And that's it.
Thank you very much. I got a couple things. First, again, I hope to see everybody on Friday, 10 o'clock, Fire Station 4, at the end of south end of 7th Street. I know the chief is just charged and ready to get that ceremony done and cut that ribbon. 22 October is going to be the Relay for Life in the park. And that's the festivities start at 3:30. I think it goes a little later than that, obviously. And your chief on the 23rd at 9 o'clock is the pull for the, what's the name of the vehicle? Bearcat pull. Again, that's a charity item to support
Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. So I would encourage everybody, once you go to church, go to church on Saturday so you can be there on Sunday in the Bearcat Bowl. I got to say that because the father's in the audience. And I have one more statement before we close out here. Does anybody else have anything that we missed? Okay. Numerous citizens have brought the issue of a firefighter group endorsing candidates for city office to my attention. They are generally upset and confused. I hope to clarify this issue with the following statement. No city department is officially endorsing or will endorse a candidate for city office. An organization has endorsed some candidates and placed signs, as is their right. This group is not part of or recognized by the city of Sierra Vista. The city will remain officially neutral, as is appropriate, in any election in accordance with city code and the laws of the state of Arizona. Meeting's adjourned.